Welcome to D&K Podcast. Today, guys, we have a special host coming back into the studio, Blake BARLEM. Thank you for coming, Blake.
Of course.
I mean,
Got your text this morning. I said, heck yeah, I'll be here.
To the rescue. Yes. Daryl isn't feeling well. He should be back next week. But, he says, thank you so much for filling in. But really excited for you to be here today. We haven't really done a co-host situation here. So, I'm really excited for that. And I think we've got a couple of things that we want to talk about that's been going on that is going to impact your life. And sometimes things that are impacting your life that you don't realize impact your life.
Absolutely.
So I think, starting off, we're still dealing with this immigration crisis.
Yeah.
Which is a crisis.
100%.
And it's still flooding everywhere. Now, Trump and his team and, Tom and everybody are trying to do their best. And we're really happy about where that's going. But of course, all the backlash and all the protesting. Okay. That's not quelling anything. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we'll be here for a few hours if I can give my full thoughts on it, but just in the broad sense to sort of get started with it. So far in about a year, we've seen roughly 750,000 deportations and then around 2.3 million self-deportations. So we'll give or take 3 million, probably, give or take a few there. 3 million deportations, and that's a fantastic start, especially for just 1 year. But whenever I think about the 4 years of Biden and Kamala, that's 10, 20 million illegal immigrants that we know of, that crossed our border, and how many that we don't know of, and that we got a lot of work to do. And there was years, even first Trump term, it wasn't exactly perfect on the border. And it's just, this is a problem that has been festering for a while, and really since Reagan's amnesty back in the 80s, that has just grown and grown and grown. And it's where we've started to see the fraud, housing prices, just inflation in general, jobs, wages, everything is just impacted by it. And I think now that someone's trying to do something about it, we're finally starting to see just how bad it was and how much it affected American life.
Oh, yes. And definitely still there, still raging. We're trying to control it now. The positives is that the crossings have gone down to
basically much nothing. Yeah.
And but it's still, we're having to deal with all that was influxed in over the last few years. You were talking about how long it's actually been.
Yeah.
Even longer than Trump and Obama. It's just.
Yeah,
it's back from the 80s.
Yeah, and it's all stemmed from this idea. We sort of saw from the 60s to the 70s and the 80s is this, more, they call it a more humanitarian approach to immigration, and what we've seen is that it's had the opposite effect. It's you can let in one good thing, but a million other bad things happen as a result of it. And that's an idea that C.S. Lewis has talked about, and how if you give up one value but sacrifice the rest, all you have is mercy, really, because that's what you're begging for at that point, because everything's just it's all
get
messed
taken
up.
over.
Yeah.
Now we're the crazy thing is we're electing also people in very high positions that don't have our really what I say our founders' thoughts on how the country should be ran. And one or two is okay, and we can kind of deal with that because elections do have consequences.
Yeah.
That's why we're here and we're a free country. But when those, higher officials start doing things that, in my opinion, really kind of subvert the Constitution, and they're not really being handled, it's just it's gonna be something that unravels.
Yeah, our founders would be rolling in their graves if they saw how the 14th Amendment was being taken advantage of with birthright citizenship.
Oh yeah.
It's just, we have a people in a political class that have just, I'm trying not to be vulgar about what they did to our laws and our Constitution. It's awful what they did and the way that they've contorted it to fit that their skewed globalist views, and we're now reaping the consequences of it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just stem from Democrats in California and New York. I mean, Roger Wicker just last week was protesting against the ICE, facility that they were going to build here in Mississippi.
Right.
A place that would have provided a lot of jobs for a place that needs it in Byhalia.
Yeah.
So, it's just, we got a problem. And it's
when you look at his excuse of why he, turned that down, I just was scratching my head like, wait, what side are you on?
Yeah. And he was like, well, it's a facility that couldn't possibly withstand, 10,000 or whatever detainees. I don't think Mississippi could withstand 10,000 illegal immigrants in the state.
Yeah, they're already here. I might as well try to contain them versus just letting loose.
Stop letting them waste your taxpayer dollars, raise your housing prices, take your jobs, lower your wages. I mean, and it's not about hate for these people. No one hates these people. The problem is that this is our country, and if your first thing that you're going to do whenever you get here is break our immigration laws, you need to go home.
Yes.
It's disrespectful not only to us.
Why we don't drop illegal, because you crossed over illegally. Exactly. You're already a criminal in that aspect.
Exactly. Yeah. And that it's not only disrespectful to us as a nation and our sovereign laws, but to the people that waited their turn and did it the right way.
Exactly.
I mean, they love to say that this country was founded on immigrants, and it was legal immigrants.
Yes.
And that's, back in the 1800s, everything. But this was primarily a country founded by settlers, people who were looking for a purpose to build a better nation, not come and reap the benefits of one that was already there.
Right.
And that's the key difference. And people, they don't pay attention in history class, I guess. I don't know what it is. But I mean, we saw this last night with that ridiculous halftime show. I watched the Turning Point one. I wasn't, but I've seen enough clips to understand that, nothing's more powerful than hate except for love. And that's a backwards message right there, because you're trying to say that if you believe in just basic immigration laws, you hate all immigrants. That's just not true.
Right. It's putting too many people in a box. And I mean, I thought that a lot of liberals out there didn't like to be put in boxes, that they want to be, I can speak my mind, I can have an opinion. Well, yes. I mean, the crazy thing is that they don't realize how much we actually do agree on a concept.
Yeah.
I want you to have your opinion. I feel if you're able to express it, then the context is there, and therefore you're not putting someone in a box. I mean, because they shut you off and shut you down because you like a certain, political party or political person or, just a certain type of singer, that you're put into a box, and I don't want to be put into a box. I'm an individual. I have different thoughts. You and I are even going to have different thoughts, but that's actually what makes this country great. Yeah, honestly.
Exactly.
And what the founders also believe too.
I think the difference between the left and the right, one of the main differences is that we can delineate between the person and the politics.
Exactly.
And I deal with this at school almost every day, is people have a hard time discerning the person from my political views, even though we disagree vastly. But I don't have that problem, because you're all people made in the image of God, and we're all, I believe that most people are coming at it from the best of, the purest of hearts. It's just, how do we get there, and what's the right way to get there, right? And I tend to believe that it's the more far-right conservative approach, and I'm willing to have those discussions. The problem is a lot of them aren't.
It's called debate.
Exactly.
And debate is being scrubbed out, especially in more of a school setting. It used to be a big thing, and especially in college, it was a big thing, and now they're scrubbing it, saying, because people, have these hateful saying and talk and speaking hate. And I'm thinking, are they speaking hate or just something that you don't agree with?
Yeah. Yeah. And we're sort of going to have a little bit of breaking news here for y'all, at least, is that we, speaking of that, is we've been trying to get a Turning Point chapter started at Northwest Rankin.
Yes.
I've been meeting with a couple of teachers to get that done, but we're having some problems with the admin and them thinking that it's going to be too divisive and too hostile. And I'm like, what
other clubs do they have there that could possibly be divisive?
None, really. I mean, you have Youth Alive and FCA, but I mean, those are like Christian, and then some.
I'm saying, are there even? And you can't tell me that they don't have some that are a little more left leaning.
I mean, they probably do.
They probably do.
A lot of the academic teams, I'm on like the mock trial team. It's like I'm like the only one in there that's like a Trumper, but like, I deal with this. It's fine. I mean, it's no big deal. We're going to court over something. We're not talking about politics or whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the classroom environment's not that way. But I just don't understand why in Rankin County we're having a problem getting a Turning Point chapter started at a high school.
That's a little ridiculous.
And I don't think, because what the lady told me, I'm not gonna say her name. She probably won't that. But what the teacher told me is that the admin had said, we're worried about it being too divisive and then it welcoming the other side to start their own club. And I'm like, but that's a good thing.
Yes.
If that's going to happen, let it happen. If we're in one of the biggest high schools, I think it's like one of the top 5 biggest high schools in the whole state, we should encourage that discussion, because if you're going to harp on us every single day to be more invested in our future, why are you going to try to stop us from being more invested in our future?
Exactly.
That doesn't make a whole lot.
It's not the way they think you should be.
Exactly. They want us to, be dumbed down and all that stuff. But I think that a school like Northwest Rankin should welcome that. But try to be an example for what it should look like, instead of being worried and controlled by hypotheticals that aren't here yet, that you've created in the back of your head. Be an example for what it could look like.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think they take pages off of social media and social media influencers who, in my opinion, on both sides, can make their side and our side not look the way that it should look.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to me, I'm thinking most of us are more in that gray area, as far as we have an open mind. We aren't just going to jump to conclusions. We aren't going to look at you and what your cover is or what your thoughts are and say that you're a bad person because you think or look a certain way. And to me, like I said, I've seen it on both sides. And I get I get upset when the other side is obviously like that, but I get more upset when my side seems to be that way. Yeah. And I will tell you, I would be the first one, on Twitter or on TikTok or what, to call them out and say, what are you doing? You were literally, number one, you're giving all of us a bad name.
Yeah.
And it's not really the values of this, right-leaning conservative values. I mean, to me, if you think about it, conservatives just want to be left alone, want to do their own thing. You do your own thing. I'm going to be over here doing my own thing. I'm going to make sure and protect myself, that somebody else that wants to come and do my stuff or get my stuff, that I'm going to protect myself, but I'm going to do my own thing. You do yours. Just leave me alone. That kind of thought process. Well, I thought that's where we were supposed to be as far as conservatives. You don't get into it's. We're not trying to jump into your business, tell you how you're doing wrong and you're doing bad, because to be honest with you, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We're getting in this, it's a matter of what do we find out? We found out 19 billion in fraud in Minnesota, and they're starting investigations in California and New York and everything. It's just, how much are we going to find?
Yeah.
And, no matter where we lean, I think we should all call it the fraud. I mean, I find it so ridiculous that people are protesting that and getting themselves killed over it, basically.
Oh, yes. And so, I mean, speaking of voting and voter integrity, I don't see how anyone could be against. Now, this is the way that, to me, it's the liberal media spinning things, but they love to spin the SAVE Act as just wanting it to be all elections being federally regulated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually not for that. I don't want the federal team, whomever it may be, to be over state elections.
Yeah.
I agree that those should remain in the state. But they're spinning it as if you support that, then you want, federalized elections.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally different than anything that's being brought up. And so they're completely blowing, some of what Trump said, I think about a week or so ago, where he said he would like to have, and again, this is where I say, I don't necessarily agree with that. Right now it's probably fine.
Yeah.
But next election, it may or may not be fine. So I don't really want the, federal government being over state elections. I want us to handle it, but we need to do a better job here at making sure, because it's Mississippi. A lot of people don't realize, but Mississippi also has their own problem.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there's not even precincts in Southwest Hines County that aren't rife with voter fraud.
I actually was a part of a campaign that, I love how they have certain laws that have to be done at a certain time and in a certain way. And if you don't, then you really can't even go and recall something.
Yeah.
because if we had had everything set up in place, we could have recalled someone that would have actually beaten old Benny Thompson over there. Some fishy stuff that happened. Now, me personally, I showed a few things that just seemed a little fishy.
Yeah.
But there were some definite question marks about how some of that stuff went on, and, you know, open ballot boxes and flash drives that ended up going home.
Yeah.
Before it came back. And I'm like, that's illegal. That person needs to go to jail. Like, that's if anybody else did it,
they'd be going to jail.
If anybody else did it, they would be under the jail. And this is just, and if it was the opposite way, let's just say we had our side committing voter fraud to beat Benny Thompson, I would be so not for that. I would actually be protesting against having those votes counted, because I just want who the constituents vote for to be elected.
Yeah.
That's it. And I just don't understand people that can vote or not vote for something to help us make sure that we don't have as much fraud here.
That's the thing, is like, if that's going on in Mississippi, you know, what in the world's going on in California and New York and, you know, Minnesota and Michigan and Pennsylvania?
Talk about the audits.
We saw the FBI raid in Georgia, and I think that's just the first. I think Arizona is going to be next, and then hopefully followed by PA and everything. But you know, the reason that we need some sort of federal guidelines for the elections, like a national voter ID thing, is because these states are not going to act. And if, you know, we don't have something, they're just going to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
And if we don't have the courts, if we don't have an RNC that, unlike last election cycle, is the only time I've seen the RNC be aggressive on election night, where they had attorneys and making sure that people stayed in line, that these votes were counted, these votes weren't counted. Exactly. It needs to happen every single time. And you know, once Trump is not, you know, as the focal point of it, that's just a reality we have to face, is that he won't be forever, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that's how it was set up, which I actually agree with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, you know, even his influence outside of the presidency, once that's, you know, starting to move away, you know, where's that stamina that the GOP has right now? Where is that going to go?
Because at this moment, I think that some of it is kind of being lost.
Yeah.
A little bit, because we're getting so far into the weeds with a whole lot of other stuff that, again, on either side, but especially, I'm sorry, sometimes I got to call this out, some of our right-leaning influencers that, to me, bring up issues that are not necessarily something that we need to jump on right now, because there's stuff that needs to happen right now that we're not even focusing on.
And my biggest thing is, like, they're all so quick to criticize President Trump, but he's done just about everything he can through executive order. It's up to Congress to pass this legislation.
It's executive orders are so wishy-washy. They're not going to stick. The next president that comes in, just like Trump did after Biden, you know, they rescind them. So they're not laws. They're they're while he's here, and of course, while he's making them, he's got judges that are going and suing him over this, suing him over that. And, you know, while I could probably criticize a little bit of, you know, hey, when you are in the right, stay in the right, keep going. Like, don't even pay attention, because if they don't have jurisdiction over, you know, that order, don't even worry about it. Just keep going. Like, you know, because they're going to come at it from all sides. But, you know,
but he's done everything he can. It's Congress has failed to pass the legislation. I mean, and despite all of that, we've still seen, like, massive success in the country. And the economy is just starting to kick back into gear after everything. I mean, the Dow hit 50,000 the other day. People's confidence in the economy is going up. The Dow doesn't just help rich people. That helps your 401ks and your retirement. So that, Lord knows, whatever's out there, whenever we retire one day, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the tariffs were going to cause massive inflation. No, our country's been able to bring in, you know, $300 billion basically. And inflation is basically back to that target rate of 2%, which is where it was at. We're finally starting to see decreases in dairy, eggs, gas, stuff like that.
Yeah,
these are real things that help people.
It was hard for me to buy eggs and milk not that long ago.
And like that's real stuff that helps people, but it takes time. And a lot of these influencers, they rely on quickness because that's how politics and the news is.
Right. Because prove I'm wrong. Prove I'm wrong.
Exactly.
Well, you can't yet. You have to let things
like
wait
the economy
and play out
is
a certain way.
People they were criticizing him I guess it would be November, somewhere around in there. It's really since Charlie passed away that a lot of this, I think, huge division has taken, because people are trying to pick apart his audience so that they can take their parts of it. That's what it is, and it's honestly demonic, in my opinion.
It is. And if you're not focused, and you're not, you have to be focused to be able to notice that.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you're going to be influenced by anybody that's saying something that's shiny and flashy.
Exactly.
You're going to go towards
and
it.
I think that's what's happened to a lot of people, because his unique ability was he was able to sort of be the umbrella for the big conservative movement, that new constituency that Trump had built.
Oh, yes.
Which was a lot more diverse than anything the Republican Party could have ever dreamed of. Yes. He was sort of that umbrella that sort of brought it together with the calm demeanor that he had, but that was still articulate. Yes. And that's something that no one else in our movement, I don't think, will ever be able to replicate. Certainly not right now. It's not Nick Fuentes.
His wife, bless her heart,
she's trying her best.
Is trying. I mean,
but she gets criticized if she grieves. She's grieving too weird or whatever. Yeah. But if she goes out and tries to live the legacy that he would have wanted her to live, then she's over it too quick or whatever. Or if she hugs one of her family friends, JD Vance, they're having an affair. Like all this stuff, it's just it's ridiculous, and it's just it's disgusting to me that a woman who lost her husband in the most gruesome way is being dictated on how she could grieve her husband's passing.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I've even seen close friends as of recently that I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.
So really, one of them that I read was upset because she had a nanny and she was leaving the kids with the nanny to go, help her, her.
She's the CEO of Turning Point.
Right. She's got stuff she's got to do. Well, she should be with her kids. She should. What? Who are you to tell her what she should be doing? How do you know how much time she spends with them? And really, why is it your business?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to know, why is she taking so much rent in your head at this point? That means she's making an impact. I hate to say it. Sometimes even the negative means you're making an impact.
100%.
Which means everybody's eyes are on you. Sometimes it can be negative. Sometimes it can be positive. But just keep doing you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I heard that woman speak. I went up there for the thing in Oxford with JD Vance and her.
That's
and
right,
it was beautiful. I mean, how strong she has to be able to do that. To think about, Charlie and everything, but to let alone get on a stage just like he did. Surrounded by thousands of people.
I just heard bits and pieces about her, not really seen her much until after Charlie died. And I was amazed at how, poised and, gripping she could be. And just, it's like you could tell she took pointers from him, but you could tell
that's why he married
love
her.
And devotion, and there was a reason. That was a reason why God put them together.
And she clearly never wanted to be in the spotlight, but these are unfound circumstances that none of us can imagine. So I don't know why we're all playing Monday morning quarterback and trying to critique it and everything.
Because people also want clicks and they like drama.
Exactly.
And when you're not getting it, you want to get it.
And they're getting you distracted on that whenever what we should be talking about is the most secure border in American history, the 8 wars that we've ended, $300 billion in tariff revenue, inflation that's going down, an economy that's getting back to where it needs to be.
Cutting taxes.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, the one big beautiful bill alone has so many victories in it that people just aren't talking about, that it just makes no sense. None to me whatsoever.
You know what I loved reading when they're not a sponsor, but I use TurboTax to do my taxes. I've done it for like almost 10 years. They're great. I mean, I would recommend them, but it's so cool because every once in a while I read there from the one big beautiful bill, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
Exactly.
Also, we have the Trump children accounts.
Yeah, those are going to be great. That's a fantastic investment in America's future. And it's different from stimulus checks. One, because it's privately funded. Most of it is privately funded, but instead of it just being a one-time check, it's something that can grow and accrue interest. And the money is put into American companies and companies that employ thousands of American workers. So it helps grow our economy.
Yeah. And it's not money that's coming from us.
Exactly.
And then them printing it off.
Exactly.
Because we were actually had a discussion at work recently about, well, where's this money because it's going to make inflation go up, and I don't want to be paying in for, and I get it when you don't know what it's about. That's where you're going to think it's going to come from because we're so used to that.
Exactly.
But I mean, and tell me if I'm wrong, isn't a lot of it actually coming from the tariff money that they're collecting?
Some's coming from tariff, but it's also like a huge majority has been privately funded by philanthropists. Nicki Minaj. I think Elon may have given some, but there's other, business, corporation people that have given just a lot of money to this because it's a powerful thing.
Because and watch with those accounts. Number one, you can't touch them till you're 18.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't even have to put anything in them. If somebody was running the numbers, it's like, if you don't touch it, you don't put anything in it. If you wait till you're 26, I mean, I think it was like 60,000 or 100,000.
Yeah, it's a decent amount of money,
and that's with not putting a dime in it.
Yeah, and that's money that's waiting on. That's college.
Yeah,
like that and
you hold off or help them buy a house or whatever. I mean, that
makes
money.
Me wonder what the motivation of these people is when they're not talking about stuff like that.
Correct.
And they'd rather criticize every little thing that he's doing when it turns out he's right almost every single time on this stuff.
Right. And some things, like you said, take time.
Exactly.
They'd love to pick on that too.
The economy is not something that you can work on every day. That's just something you got to wait on. You can sign the piece of legislation, but the economy takes time. Jobs don't appear like that. Factories aren't built like that. We wish they were.
I know,
but they just aren't. We
don't want to build them like that because if you notice, and I always remember this, I watched videos in China in 2020 where they were trying to build these makeshift hospitals.
Yeah.
And like half of them ended up collapsing with people in them. Okay, so we don't want something rushed. We want it to be planned out correctly, contracted correctly, buy the correct materials, have the right people in place to put it.
Yeah.
That takes time.
And you create more jobs that way. You stimulate the economy better that way.
Yes.
It's and this is high school economics.
Around here. We've got stuff coming in around here. We got Siemens manufacturing going to be built right up the road. And we've got, what is the one in Brandon? The
Amazon,
the media center.
Yeah, the data center.
Yeah, the data center.
Yeah. It's like there's some pros and cons to that, but at the end of the day, like you're bringing in some jobs, some high-paying jobs. It's going to lift up everything and everything. So I
mean, the future's here. I know a lot of people are scared about that. I can get one side, but really, it's where we're moving.
I get both, and it's like if we're gonna, it's the same thing with like carbon emissions. It doesn't matter what we do. If China and India are still doing what they're doing, it doesn't mean matter. A thing. So let's embrace them first. Let's embrace the future and try to control it as best we can and be on top of it instead of just waiting to have to claw our way back up.
Right.
Put America first.
Do stuff like Elon does. I mean, I know we're getting off on a subject there, but I mean, you're talking about like fossil fuels, using fossil fuels. But at the same time, if you could actually adapt more into the lost my train of thought.
The grid?
No, not the grid. What am I thinking of?
Electric?
I'm gonna think about it in a minute. Up in my head. Nuclear.
There. Yes. Nuclear energy is awesome.
Yes. I mean, I always laugh, and the reason I say that is because people say that, and a lot of people go, "Oh gosh, it's like a nuclear bomb." It's like, no, those can be played good or bad. But you put it towards something good, and it's something that's cleaner burning, and it's a lot easier to manufacture it.
It's
and
powerful too.
It is extremely
powerful. There's a generator that's
like
the size of this chair can power like probably this whole building. Like,
that's why go away from the solar stuff. I'm sorry, go away from that solar stuff. It's worse for the environment. You must talk about.
I did a project on. We had to do a project on this in my engineering class in 10th grade. And it's just by far nuclear was just constantly the best option. It's like solar and wind just take so long to get that energy back that it took to build them.
Think about how you manufacture it too.
Exactly.
I mean, you're using so much earth minerals, raw minerals that are going to be depleted. Like the more you use it, the more that depletes. It doesn't regenerate.
Yeah.
So you want to use something that can be long lasting too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is like the U.S. has sort of been at a disadvantage of this because of the America Last policies that people have had, from the minerals to all that stuff, the chips and everything. But Trump's trying to fix that. I mean, you see that a lot of these trade deals that he does, especially with Asian countries, some of the stuff he's doing in Greenland and Ukraine, part of these deals that they're making is to secure raw earth mineral deals for the U.S. so that we can go in and take them so that we can enrich our soil, enrich all the stuff that we build here, because that's something that we've been put at a disadvantage on. It's just, it frustrates me to no end that people aren't talking about this stuff. But
and I mean, but it's the distractions. It really is. I mean, I've definitely said it. I mean, for many, many years, I believe that a lot of times it's intentional that certain news stories happen at a certain time.
They tried to get him from the left. Now they're trying to get him from the right.
Yeah.
It's just, they want to stop his, and people have asked me, why are you so staunch on President Trump? I'm like, this is a dude that could have lived on his beachfront property in Palm Beach, Florida with his supermodel wife and just raised his family and play golf every day. But instead, he stepped into the ring and went to bat for the American people.
So did his family.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, his whole family. Literally, it's just all.
Did you see the Melania movie? You need to go see it. Me and my mom saw it. Me and my mom's. It's wonderful.
So bad.
It is. It's wonderful. Me and my mom went to go see it the other day.
And I'm like, I'm a huge fan of hers. I've been a huge fan of hers for years. And I saw that. I'm like, I've got to go see that.
It's really cool. And a lot of the stuff you see behind the scenes. I think one little thing was like Trump in the pantry at the White House or whatever. This is not something you think about.
Yeah.
It's just like funny stuff like that. But that's every day for them. But he put his life on the line for the American people. And literally put his life on. He was that close from losing it on national television. And it's like in the wins that he's done, the Roe v. Wade overturned, closing the Department of Education, all of this stuff that conservatives have been trying to do for like half a century at this point.
Right.
He's been able to accomplish.
I know.
And he did it. He did it by putting his lifestyle and his life on the line. And that's something that it makes no sense to me how people can just, turn their back on him like that over nothing.
No, I know.
It's just,
it really
amazing to me.
You start finding out who your friends are. I mean, I think that's actually one thing that he said after like the first or second year of being president. It's like, it's just kind of funny how these people Joy Behar, all these, people who were just praising him and all this stuff. Then he said he was going to run for president under the Republican ticket. And it was like, oh, just notice how fast everybody was just, I mean, everybody wanted to take
you find out who your friends are. All these influencers we've been talking about, they built their whole careers off of him.
Yes.
But whenever they find some BS reason to turn from him, it's like that never happens. Where's your loyalty?
All about themselves.
Where's your loyalty? Where's your, there's a few things that matter to me a lot, and loyalty is one of them. And it's just someone who's disloyal. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be like your T-ball team or whatever. Like, just loyalty is something that it's a unique quality that people can really have. But whenever they don't have it and they're extremely disloyal, it oftentimes clues in on how they are as a person. Because it shows their commitment and their perseverance. That's you can read a lot from a person about that.
Well, we've been talking about Turning Point. You said you saw the show. Now, granted, so it was my birthday this last week. I had a really, really busy end of the weekend. So yesterday I pretty much just did nothing.
Yeah.
So I did not watch either one, but I did hear how great the Turning Point halftime show was. So you said you watched it.
Kid Rock was awesome. I told him, I was joking with my parents, he's going to come out the ball with the ball. And he did. I didn't think he actually would. But when he came out, he did a backflip on the stage. And, my name is Kid. It was like Woodstock 99 over here. It was like, he came full in and he did it. And it was wild.
So I saw a couple little clips of some of the performances. One of my favorites was, one of my favorite singers, Marina Lambert. Singing hers, and I was just like, you could tell they did it up. When they do it up, they're gonna do it up right. And the crazy thing is the headlines from today talking about it rivaled it so much. And there was even videos of people at the Super Bowl watching it on their phone.
And you can even Largen, you can look at the crowd for the Bad Bunny one, and it's like no one was engaged in that, because do people understand the demographics of the people that watch the NFL? I'm sorry, but no one understood a word what that dude was saying. Even Hispanic people who speak Spanish are like, yeah, he sings in a bunch of like gibberish basically. And especially when you look at, I don't know if you saw the gay thing that was in the performance, and then all the very, very inappropriate dancing, the lack of clothing. That's something that's not just his performance, but has been in Super Bowl performances, it seems, for the last like 20 years. Exactly.
It's all about just a sex fest.
Exactly.
It's not about talent.
I remember it was 5, maybe 6 years ago with Jennifer Lopez or whatever, they had a stripper pole that just was like in the 50-yard line. Exactly. And it's just like, what are we doing? And I think it's like, I think it's honestly, I think it's demonic.
It is.
It's demonic. The devil just playing right in front of our face. And, it's bigger than race. I mean, I don't hate Hispanic culture. I think the roots of Hispanic culture, Catholicism, family, loyalty.
It's a beautiful
culture.
And I think they're doing it huge disservice.
You're twisting it and making it seem like something else that it's not.
Which actually, they're, like you said, they're very religious people. Their culture is like extreme.
I mean, like these drug cartel peoples are some of the most devout Catholics you've ever met in your life.
I mean, but just the regular average American, not American, but Spanish family that are, deeply rooted in Catholicism, I can tell you how they feel about, and I'm not saying anything about gay people. I'm just saying that within their culture, they wouldn't be accepting of any of that
and
stuff.
I don't think we should be putting that on our world's biggest stage or our nation's biggest stage. Because there's nothing wrong.
Kind of been known to do that
exactly. And that's why, like, I think it was un-American to put him up there, because he's someone who doesn't believe in our immigration laws and thinks that we should be overrun by third world countries. And
he has
that's
no
un-American.
Right to talk. And I'm not trying to be mean, but he has no right to talk. If you've been a naturalized citizen here and understood how much your tax dollars go towards that, then you may be able to talk.
Yeah.
But when you're not the one that's footing the bill, you have no reason to talk.
Yeah.
It's just the truth. I mean, you can't be doing that unless you're actually experiencing it yourself.
But the contrast couldn't have been starker. You had what was the Bad Bunny performance, and then you had Kid Rock, and it was a great symbolism. He came out as Kid Rock. He did all, his old song, whatever, but he came back, he dropped his stage name, and he sung about Jesus Christ.
Yes, I was going to say, so that new song that he came out with, it hit number one in 2 different albums that he put out. Both of them hit number 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's just so powerful because it showed how he changed from Kid Rock, and then he accepted Jesus Christ, and he became, his normal person.
Yes.
And that's a fantastic message. That's a message that I think should be put on our nation's biggest stage.
It can resonate with so many people.
Exactly.
Because some people, they either don't grow up in the church, or they even grow up in a family that, has either nothing to do with God or, who knows, practices
and you don't have to speak Spanish to understand that message.
Right. Oh,
exactly. That's a message that anyone can understand. That's a message for everyone, whether you're white, black, brown, pink, green, whatever. But instead, whenever you pick they purposely did that for political reasons when they picked him. 100%. 100%.
If you've noticed, and see, I kept, just brings me back. I think it was 2004. You were way too young.
I wasn't born.
You were not even born yet. So you will not remember this, but Janet Jackson came and had a, let's just say, wardrobe malfunction, and it became the biggest scandal for like 2 weeks. Everybody was freaking out how you honestly, you really didn't see anything, because I actually watched that Super Bowl and you couldn't actually see anything, but something slipped on her costume, and it wasn't supposed to do that, and it did, and everybody was freaking out about it. Now you really, like, they intentionally put that stuff into the show, but the NFL has changed over the last decade. They used to be very pro-American, very pro-military, and you could just get together with your buddies to watch a game and not have to worry about political, it really, Colin Kaepernick would be where I would think the first start of it in the NFL, because they allowed that to go on.
And that was right whenever you had the, oh my gosh, what's the kid's name? Yeah, what's the kid? No, who was the guy that got shot in Missouri? Whatever, the first Black Lives Matter movement or whatever.
Not George Floyd. I know who you're talking about.
His name's on the tip of my tongue, but that's right. That second,
Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, Trayvon Martin. Exactly. Yeah. That's hands up, don't shoot, whatever.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't a real thing, but that second term Obama is right where I think the real divisiveness in America started again.
Yeah.
Because race relations were getting so good, and then boom.
Yeah, because that's a way for the left to control people.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're all getting along and we're all moving positively forward and can get along with our neighbor and speak better with them, and they're understanding us more, they cannot control us.
Yep.
And so therefore that's, to me, when like distractive, this story, that story, this happened, that happened. And a lot of times either things are fully made up, they're exaggerated, or they're taken way out of context. Yeah. I mean, when I found out, and this was years ago, but when I found out that when you see sources said, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, the source was either somebody who happened, let's just say it was a company and they found out about this person, head of the company, did it from a whistleblower. When I found out that a lot of times it's reporters calling someone that works there and says, have you ever happened to, see such and such, talk to this person or say this or go to this place or whatever. Oh, yeah, I think I have. Well, we have a whistleblower over here. Our sources says such and such, never releases the sources, right? And it's like you start to figure out how that machine churns.
Yeah, they absolutely want to divide people.
Yes.
And it's just, and whenever they can control your emotions, it just makes people more emotional in general.
It does.
And whenever I'm one of the things that I think I've been able to develop is a sense of stoicism when it comes to making decisions, is because I think that emotions can just cloud judgment. And they can influence you to make terrible decisions. And a lot of the arguments we see from the left are just emotional arguments that aren't grounded in any reasoning. You can't make these serious decisions about things that don't care what your emotions are based on your emotions.
Yeah.
Right? Like whether it's finances or like, you have to take your emotions out of it and look at what's actually happening.
Right.
Because if you look at it just from an emotional angle, you're going to make the wrong choice.
Oh,
but they want them to stay that emotional way because they can control how you vote. And as long as they say, we support this, we protest that, you feel good inside voting for it. But what are they actually accomplishing?
Yes. And that's on all sides, to be honest with you. That is everybody that says that. I don't care what political party they are, because to me, sometimes messaging on our side can kind of get that way too.
Yeah.
And we have to, like you said, take an emotion out of it. What's going to be best for us in general, and I mean, look at somebody that has a detailed plan. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And you can literally see the steps that they're taking. That's the one I want to vote for, not the pie in the sky, hopes and dreams and butterflies and rainbows. I mean, those are great, but we don't live in that world.
Take an example from our side. I think a perfect example for our side on this was the tariffs. I mean, you had tons of conservative economists who were, this is going to ruin the economy. The stock market is going to crash. They all got their panties in a wad whenever the day happened that he signed them into law. And look where we're at now.
And I remember the jump ups,
exactly.
and people just could not believe it. And you're going,
I'm like,
but think about it. It makes sense. It makes sense because we're not paying that extra. And okay, look, I buy stuff from places that get stuff from China. I know I'm going to pay a little bit more. Like, I get that. It's usually a lot of times calculated into the price.
Exactly.
Okay. If you feel like you want to do that, cool. Do it. We're all about choice. We're all about freedom.
And that's what it encourages. It helps bring those American companies back into the market that have been taken over by these Chinese companies.
Notice all the car companies that are coming back here,
and the Asian companies that basically use slave labor in order to undercut their prices, which is just a whole nother humanitarian argument that they just refuse to have because it completely dissolves any morality that someone can claim that they have.
All right.
But but that's the point of it, is to encourage these and get these American companies on the platform so that places like Detroit and Flint, Michigan, all these places, but especially in the Midwest, but even down in the South, we had a lot of factories leave.
Oh,
like the Delta was not always like this.
It was very flourishing.
Yeah, and
actually not that long ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's sad.
But that's what they took away from us whenever they put America last.
Farmers.
And exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry. Now, there are certain, exotic fruit and things like that are going to come from another country.
Yeah.
But personally, things that can be grown here, I'd rather get them from here.
100%.
To be honest with you. Like, 100%. I don't want to get catfish from China.
Whenever we produce
the
most catfish in the
world. I'd rather
world.
get catfish that's grown in a farm here in Mississippi because number one, it's delicious. And number two, it's fresh. The closer it is to you, the fresher it's gonna be.
And the less it costs because it's right here. You don't have to get it across half the world.
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm still all about trying to open up more actual food markets from local vendors where you could really go. I don't know if it's Switzerland's or Netherlands. I can't remember. Somewhere around there that they had more of these localized food markets that literally, it was like walking into a grocery store, but everything that was there, it would tell you exactly where it came from and it was somewhere local.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I wish
Yeah.
I would so shop there.
And I think a lot of people would be willing to pay a couple dollars here or more there, because like inflation is one thing, but whenever it's just a bunch of wasteful crap that we've spent that money on, compared to something like this, where at this, not only is, you see a tad bit of a price increase, but your wages are going up, 2 times, 3 times fold that.
And it's fresher.
And it's fresher, better. And it's healthier. All of this stuff, you start to weigh out the pros and cons of it. And this seems a lot better than what we've been doing for the last 20, 30 years, whatever. It's just failed us.
Yes.
I mean, just another thing, talking about food, and we'd mentioned how stuff takes time. Another thing that they're doing that takes time is like the MAHA, Making America Healthy Again, resetting our food pyramid.
Which is going really good. I love that he reset it. It's like the upside down version of it. I'm like, I always thought that the way that it looked to me, I'm like, you're wanting me to eat a whole bunch of bread?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like it makes
you wonder why we're so fat.
And the vegetables are like,
yeah, you wonder why we're so fat. Like
protein was tiny. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but when you look at the diets of the strong, like the Romans, is meat and it's protein.
Yes.
Like you don't need all these GMO bread grain. Like, no, shut up. Like, calm down.
Like a little bit of it's okay. Yeah. That's why I like that it's flipped, because it makes sense. A little bit of grains, but at the bottom you have, you have your meats and your proteins and your vegetables. They're bigger, and this makes a lot more sense.
And they've done all these things to try to get all these chemicals and these unnecessary ingredients out of our food, and it's gonna make a difference. And someone tried to point out this was like really mean for Dr. Oz to say, but he's like, you want to help bring healthcare costs down, you make people healthier. Yeah, and that starts with their diet. It's just the truth.
It really is.
If you're fat, like, I'm sorry, just eat healthier. Like, it's going to be more expensive for you to live your life, especially get healthcare, if you're obese.
Well, it's also the heavier you get, the harder it is to get off.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people, and this is what's sad, because it's more of a societal thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I get the body positivity. I'm not necessarily putting that down, but to act like it's better and healthier for you to be bigger. Now, granted, it's not good to be anorexic and skinny and just skin and bones.
There's a healthy balance.
There's a balance. But when you get to that type of weight, just like being underweight, it is the more you go away from the average range, the harder it is going to be.
And your body has a hard time clawing back to it, no matter how hard you try. So
and you're constantly fighting against that societal. Eat this, so this is good. I'm going to go out here, but I do it myself. I mean, I'm literally speaking from experience. I mean, and the older you get, it's harder. The more you, like I said, the more you get away from the average range, it's more and more difficult.
That's sort of that stoicism I'm talking about. Is like, you can't be afraid to offend people. They get emotional whenever you talk about your body. I get it. Okay. Like, there's a reason I hit the gym 4 times a week, right? Just because I don't look skinny or whatever. But it's like, but you can't just rely on emotions. You got to look at what's really going on here.
And it also takes a lot of hard work and dedication, which, again, I think has been lost on the last couple of generations.
No, it 100% has.
It's like
they accountability is non-existent
to them instead of them going
exactly. And whenever you build just small disciplines like that, it really helps you build and grow as a person.
It does.
And
setting goals.
That helps you in work. It helps you in school. It helps you in your family. You're with God and everything.
And you're a happier person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're trying to take that away from us, and we finally have an admin that's fighting that.
Yes.
And is fighting for a positive future that worships God, not government, and holds the family as the core value of this country.
And just hopefully this generation and all the demographics are still there, because, I mean, one big thing is we're looking very close to midterms. Midterms may be good and it may not be good. It's not a presidential election, which is kind of scary because
Trump's not on the ballot.
Number one, we got primaries, guys. Primaries is coming up before the general election and the midterms. We got to be looking to see who we want to be where. Now, of course, I hate the fact that some people that I wish were gone are not going to be up on the ballot. I hate that. And we have to focus. This is a long term. You're talking about having to wait for things long term. We have to remember see the people that are coming up that are number one winnable, and out there fighting for it. We need to be behind them, and we need to know when to go, when to do.
Yeah.
So, it's that focus thing. I mean, Frank's actually brought it up a lot, but I mean, voter fatigue is real.
Yeah, because people, whenever Trump won, they got complacent. It's like, no, you just as hard as you work to get him in there, we have to work just as hard to make sure he gets it done.
The left, more than anything, love government and love to vote. They love to vote on everything. Yeah. This is why we have such a messed up voting schedule.
Yeah.
How it is, you're voting like every few months. Well, people get tired of that after a little while, and that is what they're wanting you to do. So I mean, that's where we have to remain vigilant to even be able to get that changed. You have to have people that are on your side, and we have to elect those people that will push for that.
Yeah,
you know, because it's all about changing the laws, not executive orders, changing the laws themselves. We have to have lawmakers that are going to have our backs on that.
Yeah.
And if they don't, hold them accountable. I have actually witnessed a few of either my representatives or just Mississippi representatives in DC. I've witnessed literal 180-degree changes in some of them. I'm just like, okay, I think that works. I think it's working. I think they start hearing the people and they start realizing, okay, they're paying attention. I need to pay attention. Okay, this is what they want me to do. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
So, well, I must say this. I've got a couple. Definitely have my friend Chris, who's gotten back on the stream. And so I'm so happy. Hey, Chris. I've got a few comments. Let's see if I can turn this way. I'm going to have to get a better setup for this at some point. So this is all the way back at the beginning of the show, but he said that because I said the protesting, he said you mispronounced rioting. This is very, very true. But, you know, he's saying that there is a chance you can still self-deport now because, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
you get paid to do it.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I think
go stimulate your own country's economy.
Exactly. Somebody named Mike Janke said, we don't need the deportation processing centers if we went after the employers. Well, I mean, I kind of, in a way, I can understand that.
I think both.
But yeah, we don't need to not have the other one. So, I mean, I agree with you halfway on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's apparently not seeing a lot of the mass deportation where they are. But I agree. I wish that there was more of it. I wish that we could handle these, you know, protesters, because I think it's definitely slowing it down, which hasn't helped anything.
Well, it's really only slowing it down in Minnesota. I mean, only 3% of ICE operations happen in Minnesota, yet we see all of the violence and riots over there.
Coming here, apparently somebody, I think it was Clay, saw a whole bunch of ICE vehicles being transported there. I'm like, good.
But the thing is, like, you only hear about it there because, you know, the governor and the mayor are encouraging all this violence and stuff. But, you know, a quarter of all ICE operations happen in Texas, yet we don't hear about it because local sheriffs and governments comply. And that's really all it takes for it to be a smooth operation.
Yes, I agree. Let's see. So Mike Janke says, if Democrats get out of line, they whip them back in line. That's what Trump had to do and didn't, which I think we're getting better at that.
Yeah.
But again, because that's where I'm seeing, I'm kind of getting nervous with the midterms because, you know, he does put his foot down on some things, but if he were to help rein in all these rioters, okay, Chris, I said it, all these rioters, then maybe we would start seeing where, you know, okay, Trump's meaning business and start paying attention to him, because I think some people have lost focus. I guess I'll say that. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody commenting here. You know, apparently there was a lively discussion going on our Facebook stream here. So let's see. By the way, don't forget that every Monday, as of right now, I'll let you know if it changes. As of right now, we still, if you're new to us, we used to be SK Podcast. So on Rumble, it looks a little, it may confuse you. You'd have to go to SKP Cast on Rumble to get us Monday nights, or on YouTube, DNK Podcast, and on Facebook, DNK. So come visit us, see us every Monday. Again, Daryl Daryl could not make it today. We hope you feel better, Daryl. I did talk to him earlier. He seems to be feeling a little bit better. But thank you so much, Blake.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Glad.
Not a blast.
Hey, I'll have you on speed dial next.
Yes, ma'am.
But yes, come on by. You're welcome anytime into the studio. Come chat about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
I
love being on here. Y'all are my day ones. So.
Well, I appreciate it. Yes, and can't wait to see where you go.
It's up to God. So.
That's right. That's right. Ma'am. Well, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next Monday.